At 3:45 a.m. on April the 1st, 1947, a fire was first detected in the then Master's upper common room in the block between Flint and Moberly Courts. By this time, the fire already had a firm hold on the first floor. The story of how the alarm was raised is in this newspaper clipping. I won't read the whole of each article to you, but feel free to pause the video and read them for yourself. Winchester College fire. Headmaster gives the alarm. Centuries-old buildings were saved at Winchester College during the night because the headmaster, Mr. W. Oakeshott, was awakened at 4 o'clock by the crash of burning timber, and in pyjamas rang the fire brigade. He ran out into the quadrangle in golf jacket and flannels and helped firemen confine the blaze to an 1870 block of buildings comprising the Master's Common Room, studies, and the Prefect's Common Room. "The fire had got a good hold when I awakened," said Mr. Oakeshott. "Apparently, it started in the Common Room, which was used until late last night." This is the most exciting document from the time, the Commoner 6 Hot Roll in 1947. In the mid-19th century, Winchester cut itself off from mainstream English association football and continued to develop its own game, Winchester College football, affectionately known as Winkies. Hot rolls are essentially team sheets decorated heavily with art and propaganda. This hot roll shows the fire of 1947. This is a more zoomed in view of the fire. You can see it raging through the central part of the buildings. Let me draw your attention to some of the finer details. There are two faces in the fire. Perhaps these are the faces of the opposing team. Here is someone who appears to be trapped inside the burning building. As the fire occurred in the middle of the night and the building did not at the time contain any sleeping areas, this is an unlikely situation, included to parade the commoner's artistic ability. On the roof of the west of the medieval block of buildings is this Titanic-esque violinist. Another more dramatic inclusion. In fact, we will see how the roof was actually used later. This fire engine, however, is not fictional. As we heard, Mr. Oakeshott heard the fire at 3:45 in the morning, and the fire brigade were on site by 4 a.m, and they were able to stop the spread of the fire to the headmaster's house, a building connected to the one alight. Some of the firemen worked from the roof of Hall, where the violin player was, to prevent the spread of the fire east, and especially to prevent it from leaping to the medieval buildings. By 6:30 a.m, the fire was under control. Fire engines had attended from Winchester, Twyford, Eastleigh, and Southampton. We have living survivors of this fire, and many documents, such as letters or articles, have been written about it. One is entitled The Memories of Christopher Turner, who was a college man at Winchester from 1943 to 48, and in life he went on to the headmastership at Dean Close and Stowe School. From my personal experience, I can add that there was a delay in getting the fire engines into college, and although the engines arrived at 4 a.m, it was their bells, which fire engines had in those days, which woke me at 4 a.m. There was confusion over the whereabouts of the key of Commoner Gate. There was a real fear that the second master's house, and then college, might ignite. There was no danger threatening the headmaster's house. There was damage to the whole of the first floor of the common room, and the roof was destroyed. You can see this on the left. Other rooms sustained damage from not only the fire but also the water and the ceiling collapsing. The editorial and subsequent news report of The Wickermist, a Winchester College publication, mentioned and discussed the fire and the damage which it caused. The rooms thus affected were Modern Languages Library, Upper Dons Common Room, Wickamaker Room, Coprees and Dons Common Rooms. Some of the adjacent div rooms were also affected to a lesser degree. The Wickamaker Room had lost many of its important documents, including a complete set of The Wickermist, this very publication. Sir Frederick Kenyon donated a complete set to ensure the continuity of the records. Another school publication which has written about the fire, admittedly much more recently, is The Trusty Servant. The story of how the fire occurred was written about, and then a college man has written his memories of the event. As it was hardly yet springtime, the evening became chilly, and we decided to switch on the electric radiant heater that was standing near to our reading table. After several minutes, wisps of smoke started to rise from the back of an upholstered armchair in another part of the room. Evidently, a second portable radiant heater was standing close behind it and was wired to the same wall switch that supplied the heater we had turned on, an astonishing breach of electrical safety regulations. We quickly turned the heaters off, appended the armchair, and poured a jug of drinking water over the scorched area, about the size of a dinner plate. For extra safety, we then heaved the armchair out of the window onto the flat roof of Nobo Passage. An hour or so later, we carefully examined the damaged armchair again for signs of continued smouldering. It seemed to be inert and smoke-free, so we lifted it back into the room, closed the window and left. Before going to bed, we pushed a letter of apology under the second master's front door, offering to pay for the damage to the armchair. The rest is history. John Briscoe includes his diary entry for the day. April the 1st. Woken up 4:05 by Wilding. Told there was a fire. Had to dress. Lay on bed dressed till 6 o'clock. Fire burned Upper Doko Row, Mod Lang Lib, and 2 div rooms. I caught 6:39 train to London, 10:30 to Woodbridge. On the left are some photos of the damage of the fire, and on the right are some newspaper clippings. We saw the one on the far right earlier. There is an overwhelming amount of evidence about this fire, especially because there are living survivors. Here is a photo of Moberly Court in modern times. You can still see the scorch marks of the fire around the windows. On the exterior, not much has changed. However, a notable exception is this. A pedestal pictured in these photos. As the interior was gutted, much changed. The space inside is now populated entirely with classrooms. Thank you for watching this final episode of Winchester College on Fire. If you have enjoyed this or any of my previous videos, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website, godchess.wixsite.com/cornucopia for more content like this. Thank you for watching.